Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Visual Arts Tuesday with the Whatcom Arts Project. My name is Tammy Landis, and I am the museum educator at the Western Gallery. I am also an instructor of art history at Western Washington University. It is great to be with you all today, and the Western Gallery is so pleased to be a part of the Whatcom Arts Project. So occasionally we will be giving some content for diverse ages, different audiences. In most cases, we'll be looking at middle school to high school to adult, as I hope to create places of engagement and discussion as we all are processing what's going on today and how can we further process that by looking at what artists have been making even before this crisis hit. And that's exactly what I want to get to today. So a little bit about the Western Gallery. On campus, the Western Gallery features 5 to 6 temporary art exhibitions a year, annually, concentrating on national and international art. The gallery has a large exhibition space in a wing of the Fine Arts Building. We also oversee the university campus outdoor sculpture collection. Today, I am going to briefly walk you through our current exhibition, Knowledge Bennett, Road to Damascus. First, I'm going to go over some of the main ideas, and then I'm going to pause and talk in length about one of the series that I believe is most relevant to today. After discussing this work, I will leave you with some additional points to consider, some open-ended questions and some ideas. And please know that as I move through this virtual tour, you are welcome to pause at any point to be able to go through this at your own pace. Road to Damascus is a comprehensive survey of LA-based artist and gallery owner, Knowledge Bennett. This is his collection of his most significant bodies of work. So a retrospective is a comprehensive survey of one artist's work. So the only work that you see in the gallery are work by Knowledge Bennett. This exhibition features select works from 7 different series made between 2012 in 2019. And presented alongside some of these works, Knowledge decided to include some works from the Western Gallery's collection, including the work of Andy Warhol, Barnett Newman, and Richard Serra. Bennett's large-scale silkscreen prints and paintings examine popular culture, America's governmental institutions, as well as historic and contemporary socio-political contradictions. By inserting undertold historical storylines into his artistic practice, Bennett catalyzes his art making as an opportunity to raise social consciousness regarding societal infirmities. Bennett's deeply held commitment to truth-seeking, intellectual enrichment, and non-traditional learning guide his creative process. At a critical juncture in his personal and professional journey, his inspiration from modernist painters became amplified as he grappled with processing grief. In his newest series, Black Paintings, Bennett contemplates the universality of loss within the human experience. The evolution of Bennett's work, both visually and conceptually, is an iterative process in which he asserts his personal mantra, quote, "As an artist, I reserve the right to grow," end quote. The parable of the road to Damascus underscores this transformative experience, the epiphanous moment in which art became the vehicle by which he articulates his passion, purpose, trajectory as a man. I'm now going to walk you through some highlights of this exhibition, and we're going to start, so if you would have walked into the gallery, we would have turned left. And here we see Knowledge's earliest works in 2012, and he is a self-taught artist, I will say. So he is not professionally trained. He didn't go to school to study art. He came to art later in life and taught himself how to do these large-scale silk screen prints. And these Coca-Cola pieces that you see on the left, he created in 2015. They are acrylic and silkscreen on canvas, and this series is called Share a Coke. Bennett gives a nod to American ingenuity and acknowledges the historic milestones of Coca-Cola's centennial anniversary of the Contour bottle. He recontextualizes the Contour bottle to celebrate the long-standing iconic design juxtaposed with the lasting artistic impact of four of the most celebrated artists of the 20th century: Picasso, Dali, Warhol, and Basquiat. Referencing the significance of these artists, in 2015, Bennett shared that he is, quote, "never afraid to stand alone, for I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants who have helped to make this thing of ours what it is. Here's a toast to the masters and all those inspired by them." This next series is, this next piece, I should say, is an appropriated work by the artist Andy Warhol. This originally would have been a portrait of 7 portraits of Elvis Presley, and Knowledge took that idea and changed it to the face of Obama. And this piece is called Obama Cowboy Magnificent 7. It is acrylic and silkscreen on canvas made in 2017. Here, Bennett is referencing Barack Obama's presidency, the transference of power, changing of the guard, and the proverbial tanning of America as a reference to a book by Steve Stout. By playing on the quote, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun," Bennett renders President Obama as a formidable cowboy, signifying the new sheriff in town. This next series is quite charged, especially today, but here is what Knowledge decided to interpret with this. And I will say, the 6 works that you see on the left side, those are original prints by Andy Warhol that were created in 1973 of Chairman Mao, and that series is called Chairman Mao. The Western Gallery owns 10 of these original prints, and we have decided to put 6 here on display to help give context to the work on the right that is by Knowledge Bennett called Mao Trump. So as you look at this a little bit closer, tell me if you see the characteristics or the facial features of Trump that have been added onto the face of Chairman Mao. So Mao Trump, this exact canvas, this is acrylic and silkscreen on canvas. It was made in 2018, and it's called Mao Trump. By first creating this print in 2016, prophetically, Bennett predicted the results of the 2016 US presidential election and its resulting state of affairs. By amalgamating Donald Trump and Mao Zedong's face, Bennett provides commentary on the stark similarities and how the two have harnessed the power of personal image. Both repeatedly position their countenances in propagandized media to push their political agendas. When first creating this series in 2016, Bennett reiterated that, quote, "regardless of how the election turns out or whoever you plan on voting for, or simply rooting to win, doesn't matter. These paintings have done just what I intended them to do. They've made people feel, and that's all I could ever hope for." This next series, the largest that is in the Western Gallery, is composed of 6 different pieces, and from far away it's hard to tell the specific narratives, but I'm going to give you here a little overview of this series. So this is called Orange is the New Black. It is acrylic and silkscreen on canvas that it was created in 2016. Here, Bennett's most critical conversations on racial injustice are manifested through the series. Each painting highlights a historical event in which state-sanctioned war was waged against the Black community. In each instance, the Black subject was penalized by the cruelties of racial biases and was left grappling with the heinous consequences of their plight. So this is read chronologically. On the left, you have the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, all the way to the right side, which is highlighting police brutality. And what you're looking at is appropriated mass media imagery that Knowledge has decided to recompose and create these large-scale canvases to really confront the viewer with these social injustices. And moving on to the last series that I want to highlight today, and that we'll spend a little bit more time on. This series is called The Black Paintings, Mixed Media on Canvas. It was made in 2019. Bennett's black paintings serve as healing mechanisms, spiritual objects which establish a space for contemplation. While processing personal grief, Bennett shifted to a minimalist aesthetic to seek respite from life's distractions. The pensive experience of viewing the work evokes a sense of silence, stillness, and spirituality. And it's hard to understand, but when you're standing in front of these works, there's a textural quality on the surface that has a light shimmer on it. So it's a polyester fiber that knowledge has sprinkled on this canvas. And as you move around, there's a sense of glow and luminous quality of these works. So when we look at it today in these images, it just looks like a constellation. It looks like stars, or it looks like you're looking into the abyss of nowhere, but you absolutely get lost in these works. And as much as I want to try to explain the physicality of these works, when you're standing in front of them, you truly get engulfed. Now, to best explain this series, I want to read a direct quote from Knowledge about these black paintings. So here is from the artist himself. Quote, 2018 was one of the toughest years of my life. After losing my father, older brother, and then my wife to breast cancer, things felt barren and bleak. Once returning back to the studio, I took inventory of my work, looking to find something there to reignite that desire to create, share, and get on with my life. I realized that up until that point, my work was full of noise. They had been a reflection and a reaction to the outer world, which had a hold on me. The work was filled with pop cultural references, political narratives, and historical occurrences. And while all of that is cool, I needed something that informed me of nothing. Something that instead of reflecting the noise, assisted me in silencing the noise. It was here that I could hear my own thoughts. It's here that I began to realign myself with what really mattered in the world. In this series, these three paintings that you're looking at here, this is a set called Comes in Three from the Black Painting series, Mixed Media on Canvas, 2019. And as we're all are working through what's going on today in our world, and we try to look at what's going on in culture, so we see the works on the right that are showing media and everything that we're being surrounded by, I want to offer a space for you to reflect and to get lost and to allow there to be silence and stillness, even though that feels very intimidating and scary right now. But taking a nod at what Knowledge did here of these black paintings versus the very noisy, busy, yet important visuals that we see on the right with the Orange is the New Black series. You know, one of these might be pulling you more directly. Where do you feel more inspiration? Where are you more inspired? Are you inspired to get lost in this and to kind of feel and get away from the noise? Or do you want to dive right in? So I'm hoping that by presenting Knowledge's work to you today, that you were able to get a sense of the diversity of methods that artists use to communicate what's going on in the world today. And as we all begin to process and still face what's going on in our world, I do hope that you will allow yourself a space to get lost and to find some silence and to process what's going on and how you feel and how you process and what all this means today. And I want to offer, if you want or would like more information about this exhibition, please do go to our website, westerngallery.wwu.edu. And there's my information I've circled for you as well. So if you have any direct questions, please do feel free to contact me. And I hope that you have enjoyed this first session of Visual Arts Tuesdays with the Western Gallery. It has been a pleasure to have some time with you, and I look forward to hearing how this has impacted you or what you've taken away from this experience.